Now, coming to the book, personally for me, the book has been a great journey of reliving those life changing moments of scaling the Everest Base Camp trek. Now, for all the benefit of the viewers and the attendees here, this was a trek which was conducted 3.5 years ago, and we did this expedition to Everest Base Camp with students. 25 students from Jain Group of Institution schools participated in this trek to Everest Base Camp, and we had young students as young as 7-year-old, 9-year-old participating in this particular trek. Now, if I have to answer the question, what inspired me to write this book? The inspiration to me, as I have written in the book as well, is that conversation which I had with the country's youngest mountaineer that time, Jahnavi. So Jahnavi and I were keynote speakers in a company's annual day celebrations. And in that, when I heard this young girl, she was, I think, less than 14 at that time. And when she was speaking about discipline, dedication, and determination, I was sitting there, and as a teacher, I was observing this young child speaking with so much of confidence on three fundamental elements of life: discipline, dedication, and determination. I was wondering there that this is what we want to teach in our schools as well, isn't it? We may teach physics, we may teach mathematics, we may teach geography, but at the end of the day, the connecting chord is discipline, determination, and dedication. So then I walked up to her and said, why don't you come to school and talk to our parents, teachers, and students? Because if we tell be disciplined, it's like a sermon. But when a child speaks from her own journey, and she was giving examples like Professor Bhatta about how disciplined we need to be when we are on the mountain. You cannot afford to make a single mistake. I mean, there is no coming back. So that's the kind of a thing. So in short, that was what inspired me, and that is how the whole story took off. When she came to school, met the children, and when the children reciprocated saying, we want to get on to the expedition, we want to do trekking, that's how the whole journey built up. Now, the second question which you asked, what is the key takeaway from the book? Why should people read the book one more step? It is filled with a lot of real life examples and learnings. And the most important attraction of the book is these lessons are from the lives of children. We all know that children can be great philosophers for their innocence, for their genuinity, for their sincerity. Now, when 25 people come together, you can imagine the group dynamics. You can imagine the kind of takeaways they have, the frustrations, the sadness which they express, and also that unity to overcome the obstacle in front of them. And when we look at life from their perspective, we kind of get lessons and also solutions to our real life problems. So if you are looking at a new perspective for your own life, I think the answer may rest in the book and the journey of these 25 children. That's the takeaway from the book. And the last thing which I would like to tell you, why? Why should parents and schools and educators read this book? Well, if I have to take a step back, I will go back to the origin of the human race. We all have this brain which has evolved over a period of time and which basically knows two responses. One is the fight response, and two is the flight response. So it's very common for all of us to flight, that is to escape from that reality or the situation, to preserve self. Self preservation is the key. Now, when you look at it, that origins from the fact of fear. And fear is of two kinds. One is the normal fear. Now, for modern day example, if you're crossing the road, you are scared. You're scared if a vehicle runs over you or hits you. That is good. You need to self-preserve yourself and you need to be cautious and careful. Today, Corona. You need to be scared of the infection, and that's why you maintain social distancing, you wear a mask, or you use a hand sanitizer. The other fear, the other problem is the problem which I would like to address, and that's why this book, which is called as the abnormal fear. Abnormal fear, if I have to put it in a very lighter way, it's a gift which is given to us from our adults, our parents, our teachers. The society keeps giving us that fear in a gift wrap box. And that is, don't try that. You can't do it. No, you should not be attempting this. You just do this because I'm telling you this is the best thing for you to do. And let me be very honest. This fear stops a lot of us from even trying out and pushing our hidden potential. I'll go back to the book and give you an example. I spoke about the girl Jahnavi. Young as 6 months old, her father, Dr. Krishna Rao, who is no more, we lost him to the dreadful disease of cancer a couple of years ago, but he was there with us on the trek. He used to take her into the jungle for trekking. And when she was deciding to become a full fledged mountaineer, when she was to get trained for her stamina, endurance by an athletic coach, when the introduction meeting was going on, the coach asked Jahnavi and Dr. Krishna that are you not scared to go on trekking alone, the mountain, the weather conditions, and the steep and the slopes? Jahnavi, at the age of 4.5, looks at her father and says, "What is fear?" And then Dr. Krishna Rao had to step in and say, "Sir, the girl does not know the word and the meaning of the word fear. I have brought her up like that." And today, we know what she has done. The country's youngest mountaineer, having scaled all the summits and now gearing up for Mount Everest as well as for the North Pole and the South Pole. So, these gifts which we get, which are unwanted gifts from the society, I think the book has a message for that. We should just leave them unopened. Keep it, you don't have to return it and pass it to anybody. Just keep it unopened and then focus on what you have. Okay, I cannot go back and erase the meaning of fear in your mind, but through the book, I can only say this that abnormal fear need not exist in our life. We don't have to worry about what if that happens, what if this happens. And in common language, we know it as fear of the unknown. We don't have to worry about that. Let's focus on what we have and push it. So, in that context, this book is a message to all educators, teachers, parents that how can we bring up our younger generation to face the new world, to face the 21st century and the challenges the 21st century has to offer. Because all of us know that by the time they grow up and come into the workforce or to the millennial age or their age of occupation, the world is not going to be the same. In fact, we see today, last 15 months, how world has changed. So the only thing we can do is to equip them with that spirit to fight without fear.